Hi, welcome to today's video, and today we are talking about a very sensitive topic, but one that I feel is important to be talked about, and that is reasons why I believe homosexuality is spiritual more than it is physical. So this is something that I have observed, and right now there is a lot that, like for example, if we look at most of the movies that are coming up and series, there has to be homosexual character. The most recent movies and series coming off have such characters, and there's a lot that has been said about this, but I want to just give out of my own conviction and out of what I have observed and experienced. I will be giving some of the first-hand things I saw when I was growing up, younger. Of course, I'm not old, but in school I saw this, and I will want to share based on what I've observed and what I have gotten to know over time. So I'll not talk much about it. I'll just give 3 reasons why I believe it is a deception of the devil. It is a deception to fight what God really wants for us. Okay, and just before we get into that, it's good I introduce myself. My name is Grace, if you're new here, and I am all about encouraging and inspiring people, and also young people, to have a good foundation for marriage, mostly before we even get to marriage. Okay, and if you're new, if you've not yet subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're interested in content related to creating a good foundation for marriage. And if you've been here before and you've come back, thank you so much for always coming in to check out what we are doing and for always giving us a thumbs up. Thank you very much, and I hope even today's video will be a blessing to you. So we dig into the first point. The first point why I believe this is a spiritual thing more than it is physical is it goes against God's plan and purpose for marriage. In one of the videos that I did last week, yes, I did a video last week on why marriage is a big deal, and one of the things I mentioned is one of God's desire for marriage is that we will have godly offspring. Now, when two people who are of the same gender come together, it's impossible, even biologically, it is impossible for them to have offspring. You can adopt, you can have children through adoption and other ways, but you cannot have offspring of your own. So the purpose that God brings people together for him to have godly offspring means then you will not be able to accomplish that purpose for your marriage. So basically what that is, the devil has come and fought the main purpose for marriage. There will be no fruitfulness. I know the Bible talks about when God brought Adam and Eve, the first man and woman together, he told them to be fruitful. And I know there is a lot of discussion on how fruitfulness is not just for children, but when he said be fruitful and fill the earth, there is no other way they would have filled the earth without having offspring. And that is the same command he gave Noah and his children, his wife and his children. When they came out of the ark, he told them they should be fruitful, increase, and fill the earth. We cannot fill there's no way they could have filled the earth without having offspring, without having children. So this is a battle for fighting the purpose for marriage. That one of the main purposes for marriage, which is to increase and fill the earth. And that basically is being and bearing children, having children, okay? So that is why I believe, because the devil will always come to fight the original plan of God, will always come to fight what the desire God has, what God has created us for, right? That is why I believe it is more of a spiritual thing. We might look at people and say, oh, these people are bad, all that. But the main thing is to realize that it is not really the people, it is the force behind it. The force behind it is we should have less offspring, we should have less godly offspring. Because let's say a couple comes together and they adopt a child. They probably are two ladies, they have a girl. Chances are this girl will think that having a husband who is a lady is okay, because that is where they have been brought up, and that affects a generation. It is not just these two ladies who came together or these two men that came together. The children they adopt will think that it is okay, and they might also get a spouse of the same gender, and that will go to the other children that this other child will adopt. And so it goes on and on and on. And the children that you would have gotten, let's say it's a man is a seed carrier. So if this man does not give this seed to be a fruit of the womb, then they have lost whatever God had put in them. Probably the seed that God had put in them was to impact generations in a certain way, because nobody is born without a purpose, right? So when that happens, then that seed is gone. That seed is gone, because another man cannot bear. Another man cannot carry his seed, even if he calls that other man his wife. And even if a man says, I am the wife, that man cannot carry. That man cannot carry a seed because they don't have a womb, right? So it's just a deception. I go to the second point, and that is it goes against nature. It goes against nature. And that just is a continuation of the first point. Why I say it goes against nature, one thing I really loved about the late Miles Monroe, I really loved watching his videos. One thing he used to say is, the man, like the way homosexuality is, it goes against nature because the man is a giver. The man is created biologically as a giver. I'll not go to much details, but if you've done a bit of biology even in primary school, you can understand how a man sexually is created is they give. And how a woman is created is they receive. And the way now people have tried to make this work, most times in this homosexuality, the reason I say it goes against nature is because men now start receiving, but then the part they used to receive is an exit. I used to love how the late Miles Monroe used to put it. Our behinds are an exit, it's not an input. So when someone uses it as an input, they are going against nature, right? And a woman, there is no way she can give. The way we are created, a woman can only receive. Because you receive, then the womb bears and helps that seed to grow until full term. And then the seed now comes out as a full-grown baby. So that is against nature. And in addition to that, when we look at any other creation, animal or even plants, they go male, female, male, female, male, female. There is no animal you will see going male, male or female, female, right? So when we try to now make things and say, oh, we have been created this and that, no, it just goes against nature. And one thing I want to put out there is for the people who say, oh, I feel I have been born as an opposite gender. Like I don't feel like I am the gender that I actually am. One thing is to realize, when I was given the video on personality traits that are evident in us, of God that are evident in us, you realize that there are ladies who are actually, you could look at them as if they are masculine, but they are the type that I called queens, because they have commanding character and authority, and that is someone who might start thinking they are male. But no, that is not being a male. That is just a personality trait, and it is a character of God evident in us. A man who is a priest, who is laid back and who loves serving people and doing these things, might look at that himself as a lady. But no, it is a character. It is a character of God in us, because one, it is good to understand, according to scripture, that God, in the spirit, there is no male or female. That is what the Bible says, and that is why in heaven there will not be marrying and being married. But now here on earth, how we are created to also help with the main purpose, one of the main purposes for marriage, which is godly offspring. We have been made male and female for reproduction, right? And even in, I don't want to go to the details of men being head, women being, and all that. Basically, when we go against God's plan, we are going against nature and how he has created us, okay? So when someone thinks that, oh, they are not the character they have been created to be, no, it's just a personality issue. And it is good to realize that even if you feel you have all these characters that look more masculine if you're a lady, or look more feminine if you're a man, it doesn't mean you are that, you've been created as that type. No, it just means you need to realize, as a woman, if you have this character, how do you use that to serve God in your capacity as a woman or in your capacity as a man, and still submit in the gender that God has given you. It's good to know yourself and understand what God has in store for your life and why he has created you the way you are, okay? The third one is all this, why it is spiritual is because it comes from an external influence. No child wakes up one day and decides, I am not a man, if they are a boy, and says, for a girl says, I feel I am a boy and not a girl. For the people that I have observed and the things I have seen, most times or all times, it is out of an external influence. Now let me give a bit of, and maybe one day I'll give details of this, but I'll just give a bit of what I have observed. Like in the school I was, in high school, this was very real. It was, people would be boyfriends, and we were in a girls' school, but there are people who are boyfriends in that girls' school. And we used to be, mostly when we got to Form 4, when Form 4s got to Form 4, is where people used to do it openly, and we knew who is who has who has a girlfriend and who has a boyfriend in the school. And we would be called. I remember when we were in Form 4, we were called and people were told to go out and seek help. And I think people used to make it open when we got to Form 4 because they're just waiting for their final exam. And there's nothing much that can be done. You cannot be told you now are expelled from the school because you've already registered. That is just my reasoning. But one thing I noticed is it used to be introduced as a game. And I saw this even before high school. Maybe I'll one day give details. But I saw it introduced even before I was in high school. It was introduced as a game. There are people who might have gotten it introduced in maybe through pornography, through being molested. Someone was molested, and that exposed them to that, to now thinking and hating the opposite gender or loving same sex, right? So it comes from, if probably someone is struggling with this, it's good to realize where it all began. And some of these games might be introduced as games, and you might find someone has either become sexually pervert. This person cannot survive without being physically intimate, or it also could open the door of masturbation. So it's good to know that it doesn't just begin there is something, could even be introduced by music. I used to see people dance in school, and people would dance very arousing dance styles. And honestly, you're in a girls' school. If you get aroused, then definitely you will want to release that pressure. And what do? They are all girls in the school. So it just leads to that, So it's good to know that nobody just wakes up and thinks, oh, I am this and that. No, it's a spiritual thing. It is something that external that pushes you to that introduces you and exposes you to that. So just for me to conclude, I'll say, if you know someone struggling with it, or if you're struggling with this, you need help. You need to seek God. You need to seek help. Get a spiritual authority to help you overcome, because it is more spiritual than physical. It's not just fun and all. You need help, and that person needs help. And parents need to be intentional about explaining to children and letting them know that what not to allow happening to them, even if it's a relative or friend who is trying to introduce this thing. Thank you for watching to the end. You can give more points in the comment section on the same, and I hope you've gotten a highlight of the issue on how homosexuality is actually spiritual and not just physical. God bless you, and see you in the next video.